There's some killers out there that don't get their shine, like Rakhmonov, Shavkat Rakhmonov. That guy's a f***ing killer.
Shavkat Rakhmonov and Khamzat Chimaev are names that strike fear in the hearts of the UFC roster.
Khamzat, who talks crazy shit. I kill them all! I kill everybody!
The former because of his gifted ability to finish people, and the latter for the maulings that he serves inside the octagon. Their dominance is unmatched. Both of them are in their primes. Both of them want to win UFC gold. And there isn't a better time for Rakhmonov and Chimaev to clash than now. The question is, who would come out on top if they fight? Let's break their strengths and weaknesses down to find some answers. Shavkat Rakhmonov and Khamzat Chimaev joined the UFC in the same year and 3 months apart in 2020. Chimaev was the first to set the stage alight with his viral performances, including his maulings of Reese McKee and Glenn Phillips in July 2020, followed by a 17-second one-hitter quitter against Gerald Meerschaert in September. The following month, Rakhmonov entered the UFC welterweight Shark Tank and put the big fishes on notice by choking out Alex Cowboy Oliveira to earn his 13th consecutive stoppage victory. Since 2020, both fighters have competed a healthy amount of times. Chimaev has fought 4 times, absolutely steamrolling Li Jianlang and Kevin Holland, while engaging in barnbusters against Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman, 2 of the best 170-pound fighters on the planet. Rakhmonov has competed 5 times, finishing Michael Prazeres, Carlston Harris, and Neil Magny, before choking out Geoff Neal after a gruesome battle of will and skill. In his most recent fight, Rakhmonov neutralized former 2-time welterweight title challenger Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, scoring the biggest win of his career in the process. The 2 fighters have passed each test with flying colors, so a fight between them makes the most sense. However, there are a few hurdles. For instance, Chimaev now competes at middleweight, whereas Rakhmonov is now in closing distance of a welterweight title shot. The bad thing is that they are a division apart. The good thing is that they are only a division apart, with Chimaev having competed at 170 pounds previously. Should their stars somehow align, who would come out on top and establish himself as the most dominant force in the UFC? Chimaev is one of the top 3 wrestlers in the promotion because of his hulkish strength, his relentless pressure, and his mastery of technique, positioning, and control. He's a nightmare for 90% of the guys in his division because he's incredibly tough to keep away.
Most dangerous guy here. I got a gun for everyone. I kill everybody. Allah Akbar.
The other 10% don't have it easy either. They will have to put their heart and soul into training if they want to solve this puzzle, because once Chimaev gets his hands on you, he'll put you on your back, and then only high-level defensive wrestling or divine intervention can save you. He is a monster among men, and only a bigger and more powerful monster can take him down. Is Shavkat Rakhmonov that monster? The Kazakh is a Sambo world champion who once trained under the tutelage of Khabib and his father, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, 2 of the biggest names in the world of wrestling. So that automatically qualifies Rakhmonov as a world-class grappler. And maybe that's why 10 out of his 18 wins have come by way of submission. Shavkat is not as aggressive as Chimaev, but he certainly is strong and highly technical. He's a hard man to take down, let alone keep on the mat, because he is smart enough to slip away, scramble into a dominant position, or lock in a fight-ending submission. As good as he is when he's in the driving seat, Rakhmonov is a menace off his back. And that only makes a potential fight with Chimaev a whole lot more interesting. Now, if we take a look at the 2 statistically, Chimaev has an edge in the grappling department. He averages 4 takedowns per fight, with a 46% accuracy and a very high submission attempts average of 2.7 per fight. Shavkat, on the other hand, averages 2 takedowns per fight, with an accuracy of 29%, and he averages 2 submission attempts per fight. Statistically, Chimaev is twice as good as Shavkat, but that's because the latter isn't worried about exchanging shots on the feet. Chimaev is predominantly a wrestler with an excellent striking skill set. He's big, he's strong, and he hits really hard. But like most elite wrestlers, he also enjoys the liberty of his opponents fearing a takedown, which opens the door for success in exchanges on the feet. The Chechen is a very solid puncher, but compared to his wrestling skills, his striking skill set is very limited, since it is very reliant on a right hand, with aggressive hooks and uppercuts being his favorite weapons. Chimaev likes to drive his opponents to the fence, and then send his right hand swinging. If he connects, well and good. But if he doesn't, then he ends up in the clinch, from where it's a downward slope for whoever's fighting him. Chimaev does a decent job with kicks as well, and he has added body and head kicks to his toolkit in recent years. But defensively, he does have issues that can be exploited. For instance, Chimaev stays on the center line and doesn't slip, duck, or weave his head in striking exchanges, making his very hittable. That was exactly why he took a lot of punishment against Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman, especially with jabs and straight punches. Chimaev badly struggled against Usman's 76-inch reach, and considering Shakat Rakhmonov is an inch longer than that, no pun intended, he battered Chimaev in an all-out striking battle. Rakhmonov's striking is unorthodox, unpredictable, and unforgiving. He is really skilled in the striking department, with a good variety of both kicks and punches at his disposal. He is very comfortable fighting at a distance and in the pocket, and he can slow down or up the ante depending on the situation. At the beginning of a fight, Shavkat usually plays it safe, feinting and avoiding hits. He watches how his opponents react to his moves to figure out their weaknesses. Now, that could be a cause of concern against someone like Chimaev, who starts the fight guns blazing. He just rushes forward, picks people up, and slams them to the mat. First round Chimaev is a serious threat, but there's solid reason to believe that Rakhmonov would stuff Chimaev's takedown and keep the fight standing. The solid reason is his 100% takedown defense. Round 1, therefore, is key as far as setting the tempo is concerned. Once Rakhmonov starts feeling confident, he lets those kicks fly, especially to the body. He is also very unpredictable with his spinning attacks. The Kazakh's favorite move, however, is a shifting lead body kick that lets him keep a good distance from his target. He also circles his opponent to set up a right leg turning side kick. As the fight progresses, Rakhmonov combines punches with his kicks, making it harder for his opponent to cope with his increasing pressure. He pushes them backwards strategically, making sure they're off balance, so their strikes have minimal sting in them. The Kazakh is devastating in the clinch as well, with those thudding knees to the breadbasket that can take the wind out of anyone. He has a very diverse skill set that could come in handy against Khamzat Chimaev, who tends to slow down if he can't finish the fight in round 1. That is because Chimaev burns his gas tank in trying to go all out. If a good defensive wrestler like Rakhmonov can make Khamzat work hard to secure takedowns and advance into dominant positions, he can make things very interesting on the feet from the second round onwards. Like every great wrestler in MMA, Khamzat's confidence lies in taking people down. If he fails to secure takedowns and gets punched in the face on the feet, he will struggle, no matter how dominant he has been in the cage. Rakhmonov may not win in an all-out wrestling battle against Chimaev, but has the skills to neutralize his wrestling and frustrate him, which would eventually lead to mistakes. The fight will either be ridiculously one-sided or fairly even, and in both scenarios, Shavkat Rakhmonov has the edge. So in conclusion, this is my prediction. Shavkat wins by decision at 170. Now, at 185 could be a different story due to Chimaev's size advantage, but I highly doubt the fight would happen at that weight. So I'm going with Shavkat on this one. At the end, regardless of who wins between them two, the true winners will be us, the fans, because it would be a fight for the ages. Now, let's pray to the MMA gods so they can bless us with this fight while they are still in their primes. Hey, but I want to hear from you. Who do you think would win? Does Shavkat finish Chimaev, or does Chimaev shut me up and win? Let me hear your thoughts and predictions in the comments section below. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn the notifications on. But only do so if you enjoyed the content. Last but not least, remember to protect yourself at all times.